Thank you for watching the Tank Museum's YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. If you can support the museum, please think of backing us on Patreon or joining one of our membership schemes. Or if you watch to the end of this video, you'll be able to see how you can help the museum by buying items from our online shop.
So here we are now in the Vehicle Conservation Centre, the VCC. Absolutely fantastic. Chris, thank you so much for inviting me in. I love this building. I have to say it's my favourite building out of the entire museum.
Same here, a bit of everything in here. Some of the running vehicles, some of the stored vehicles, future projects. It's just a sheer variety. Over 100 vehicles in here. And engines, gearboxes, you name it. It's a sort of tank heaven.
And this is just sort of, is this like the overflow or something? Or is this just where you put your
Yeah, that's right, Richard. It's a bit of everything. We have got future exhibition items. So if we want to do a new exhibition on a particular project, we can bring them out here and get the ones that are currently on display in here. So it's that overflow we can work with. And at the front, some of the vehicles that we run, about 20-ish vehicles that are currently in running condition, dotted near the doors. Ideally, they have their own garage in the future. It's something we hope to work towards, because at the moment we're mixing storage and the running vehicles, not ideal. But at the same time, they need to be here because we're running out of space, and they need to be in a good environment as well, because some of the more modern vehicles, they actually suffer quite badly from the damp conditions in some of the other buildings. So
I say it wasn't so long ago, before obviously the VCC was here, a lot of the vehicles were outside, weren't they, rusting away?
Absolutely,
and
as Richard, director, always says, unless they're undercover, there's not much else you can do with them to look after them. So the good thing is everything is undercover, and this is really, really good environment. Big building. Yeah, heating in there, big slab, a concrete slab on the floor, so that helps as well in the summer to keep it cool and in the winter to keep it warm. That heat exchanger, and yeah, some spares.
I was just say, you keep plenty of space there. There's a massive, I don't know if the viewers can see it, massive track against that wall there. Plenty of power packs, gearboxes as well, I assume, down there.
Yeah, these we received from Shrivenham, the Defence College of Shrivenham. Some really, throughout from the Second World War to more recent material, engines, gearboxes, they were used for teaching purposes and training purposes, and they gave them to us. They still need to be sorted out, but fantastic material, Valentine suspension, multi-bank, cutaway multi-bank for a Sherman, a bit of everything. Again, that's the nice thing about this, being it complete units, vehicles, order parts, a bit of everything. So yeah, this ideal toy store here.
I'm going to put you on the spot here now, Chris. How many vehicles in here at the moment?
Yes, just over 100.
Over 100, that's good. Have you got any particular favourites?
I think just like everyone else, you have sort of favourites in different periods. Yeah, the Leopard's always impressive. I like the Chieftain. It's just a bit of everything. You have favourites in each different period. I'm a Centurion man, I must admit, but yeah.
Nice bit of Berlin camo on the Chieftain there.
I know, it's the wrong mark for it, but it looks good. It's nice to see something not green. But yeah, this must mean obviously a lot to you, this vehicle, that you served on for many years.
Not many years, I hasten to add, Chris. I'm not quite that old. I started on
Chieftain,
but it was
you
fairly
started
quickly.
on Centurion, but you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
But that's the nice thing as well, talking to people that actually served on these vehicles, because it's great having the vehicles, but unless you speak to the crews, those maintained them and those worked on them and those who served on them, it just gives it that edge, that interesting story. It makes it sort of three-dimensional from a story point of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're all about in the museum.
And I'm right in saying that not every single vehicle in here actually belongs to the museum. You've got a few private collectors.
That's right. This one, let's point out the Hago, really rare beast, Japanese tank, Second World War. We have one in the collection, of course, on display. This is privately owned by a gentleman, a collector in Japan. It came to the museum last year as a loan. We operated in Tankfest 2019. We were planning to use it this year, because this year completely changed. He kindly let us have us for another year. So next year will be the last year to have the Hago on display. And yeah, really grateful. And not just the Hago, we've got other vehicles, the Stug. We've working with the Churchill Trust to have some Churchills here. So because we are the tank museum and people know what we do, and we have the facilities to look after it and especially to display it in the arena, because not everyone, of course, has an arena, even though they may have a collection of vehicles. We're working, and we're looking forward to working with other private collectors and other trusts and museums to highlight their collections and give the variety for our shows. because we have the volume, but people want to see different things every now and then. So do we. So it's yeah.
And of course, I do know that some of the obviously the keynote, the people doing research on that love the VCC as well, because you've got some super rare vehicles. I mean, we can't actually see them from here, but tucked away across in the corner, I know there's a Conway, for example. And
yes, yeah, and that's the nice thing. And we do provide access when people have a research inquiry. We let them in here, and on special open days or special tours, we'll let people through here. Because again, there's no point having all this if no one can actually see it. And it forces us well to look after it, that it's clean, when it's safe to go through. But it's always quite a pleasure to see people going through here and appreciate for what they are. And as you said, some people are very interested in a particular vehicle or a family of vehicles, while others just love the sheer variety and the volume and the smells of it. When they come in, you see people normally go, wow. And the smell, for those that serve on tanks, they go directly, this smells like tank.
It does remind me of the tank part. Now, Chris, a question for me. I mean, there's some of the stuff tucked away further back here. How on earth, if you ever want to get to it, do you have to drag everything else out? I assume you do.
Yes.
That was an easy answer then.
First in, last out, yeah. So if we would need access to some of the prototype vehicles in the back, you would get this entire row out, and then you bring them through the doors and you pull them out. It's a lot of work. We're actually having some light work coming up. We have to replace lights in the VCC, so we need to pull quite a few rows out just to gain access to service those. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Chris. It is the best place. People can visit it, they can come in here as well, can't they, during the day? And,
yeah, the balcony is open normally on normal days, and then on special events like Tiger Day and Tank Fest, we open the floor up for people to wander around. And we do also provide specialist tours for groups.
So Chris, the workshop's absolutely fantastic. Firstly, it's obviously, of course, where all the real workers in the museum hang around. What a really nice building. New as well.
Yes, we built this with lottery funding, supported by lottery funding in 2018, and it really gives us all the opportunities now to start working properly on these vehicles. We never had a crane, a 25-ton crane, or the sheer space and the equipment that we can house here. So good facilities for the guys, and it's just great. We have so many projects lined up. Unfortunately, this year was a bit slow. We were shut down for long periods of time, but eager to go next year. A lot of catching up to do. Some vehicles are stored here as well. It's a bit of everything at the moment, not just projects, but this Centurion was built as a Centurion 2. I think David Fletcher mentioned it in one of his tank chats, later upgraded to a 5. It's one of the oldest surviving Centurions. And we acquired it thanks to the generous support of the David Webster Charitable Trust, because they put the money up for us, because we hardly ever purchase vehicles. But we hope to add this to the running fleet in the years ahead. It's complete, it needs work, but it's all there, and quite a unique vehicle. And interestingly enough, it's more pure coincidence. We have the Pilot Centurion here from one of the key vehicles in our collection, is stored here just to have it safely inside. And it was all part of the project, the phase 2 of the new Second World War exhibition. We want to highlight the enormous technology progress during the Second World War, from basically Matilda 1 to Challenger 1, Centurion 1, sorry, even though it missed the actual conflict. But that's going back in after months in here, really.
And that's not running condition, that's just going to be sort of...
That's a static, that's just a key museum piece, and it's all about preservation, while of course the other vehicles is about maintenance, servicing, overhaul, restoration. And that's always the balance in the museum between key museum pieces, how do you look after them from a conservation point of view, what do you have to do to make sure they're safe and they're going to last a very long time, and you don't alter them too much. And of course with the running fleet, being it the T-72 or the Centurion, you have to make those compromises. When do you replace parts? When do you make new parts? How do you service them? And how do you use them? How often do you use them? Because that's all part of the challenge. So that's what makes this job here for the guys so interesting. And then they're all different vehicles. They all have different requirements. And we really need to know how often can we use them? How can we make sure we can still operate them safely in the future? For example, the T-72, we're working with outside specialists that have been trained on the T-72 rather than us reinventing the wheel.
It must be incredibly hard for the staff, because of course, it's all very well for us. We trained on Chieftain Challenger 1, Challenger 2. But I mean, when you've got such a variety of vehicles, you've got, all right, fundamentally a tank is very similar, but different, different transmissions, different gearboxes, different requirements. Spares must be an absolute nightmare, I would imagine. They're very, very skilled guys and girls, I assume, that work in here.
Yeah, absolutely. The volunteers and the staff, without them we couldn't do this. And now we're working as well more and more with other museums, other collections, historic collections from armies, to help us look after them the best as we can, with those that have arguably been trained on them. So we have a lot of knowledge, and we're gaining by working with all these partners as well to soak up some of their knowledge. And that's been really quite a successful formula because, yeah, they're all different. I mean, these are quite complex beasts and spares. You have to be, it's all about how can we make sure we still have a running fleet in 25 years' time. And that's one of the things we're actually working on to make sure by the centenary of the Second World War we still have running
Takes me
vehicles.
back, Chris. Grease gun.
Yes. Any grease nipples you want to lubricate? So a lot of our kits here, being it recovery, chains, cables, specialist tooling for the A-frames. Yeah, a lot of material here. And next to us we have then the machine shop, where our machinist Bob Kendall does a lot of fantastic work, currently working on the Valentine suspension that Jonathan will talk more about.
So I assume when you say machine shop, you mean obviously there's going to be certain bits like we sort of discussed before that just don't exist anymore. You can't get spares for it. So they've got the ability here to make.
Yes, and we're doing that more and more, that items we can't purchase, we have remanufacturing here. And that's really going quite well. So we have a big lathe and a milling machine in here, and it's Bob and Jacob, used to be apprentice, now a technician, has also been a lot of machining and learning from the years of experience that Bob adds to our workshop setup here. So a lot of interesting stuff going on here as well.
Wow, it's absolutely fantastic.
It often takes a while, but because you have to make stuff, you get the drawings, you get the material, but it's really been a success story.
It's very clean and organised as well, Chris. It's always like this.
Well, we knew you were coming, of course. We wanted to prepare. Well, unfortunately, of course, most of this year we have been static. And it's just great that the guys are back now, just before the end of the year. But we look forward to a busy year next year. Lots of things going on, lots of things lined up. And it's not just working on the vehicles. You know, we're running once the display season starts, it gets very busy. All these guys operate the vehicles.
Sure, yeah.
But also it's sorting out parts, for example. We have stillages full of tracks and mostly track pads and track links. And we're just sorting that out, making a big cataloging database and making sure that all stored safely and that we actually know what they are. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So there's a lot of different things going on always here in the workshop, not just tinkering on the vehicles themselves, but spare storage.
What sort of staff you got here, Chris? How many in total?
10 on the workshop floor.
Okay.
That includes 2 apprentices, and we've managed to take on our first apprentice this year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Year 4 apprentice, Jacob, has now become our member of staff, which is really positive news. And so we're investing as well in the youngsters, and that's back to your early conversation, it's how many different skills needed and experience, you want that balance between operating and being able to fix it.
This takes me back. Oh. I mean, it just feels very fast.
It feels like fires over in San Francisco.
It feels like it's a decent, solid weapon. How much of a pain that must have been to manhandle around the turret and actually put it into the breach.
We have a fantastic selection of books, models, clothes and other gifts on the Tank Museum online shop. When you buy from our online shop, you are supporting the Tank Museum charity, and that means we can carry on caring for our collection and producing this content. If you have supported us already, thank you very much, subscribe and do keep watching.